Hello there. So this is David, Books and Comics and Thought. Today I present my collection of the Men with No Name paperback westerns, um, featuring cover art by Chris Achelleos. Now, not all of the covers will be by Chris Achelleos, but many of them. So this is the tandem books of the first a novel in the series, A Fistful of Dollars, based on the first film with Clint Eastwood and directed by Sergio Leone, called A Fistful of Dollars. And if you look, this is called a dollar western. It's by a writer named Frank Chandler. And this is obviously a later edition of the book. The movie came out, if I remember correctly, in 1965. I don't know if it says here on the back. Um, um, I can't see it. Anyway, it was 1965. And this was one of the first of the spaghetti, what they call spaghetti westerns, Italian westerns, that were plentiful and became all the vogue in Europe back in the 1960s and into the early 1970s. So this is the first book. It's called A Fistful of Dollars, and it features the cover art is exactly the same as what you see here. So it's basically a painting of uh, of this uh, of this picture, featuring Clint Eastwood in his dressed in his poncho with his gun, all in full display. So this is the first novel, A Fistful of Dollars, based on the first film. The second film was called For a Few Dollars More. And here you have a beautiful painting, again by Chris Achelleos. This one was by Joe Millard, who went on to write most of the novels. And this painting features Clint Eastwood along with his one of the villains in the stories, and that's Lee Van Cleef. This is the second film. And we'll see here if it says. Yeah, this is a reprint, December 1972, copyright 1965 by Sergio Leone. So again, this features features Clint Eastwood on the cover and Lee Van Cleef, all in their Western glory there. And the second cover I'll show you is this cover, and it's another version of the book. This one is by Award Books. This one's by Tandem, and this is an earlier printing of the book. This one is copyright 1965, and this is the first printing by Award Books, 1967. So this one is a paperback original of the film. So the man with no name, from nowhere, blazes a vicious new trail of violence and action, for a few dollars more. And this is another cover, um, similar to this one, basically the same. It's a later edition. This one also is Award Books. We'll just look inside, unwrap the wrapper, and we'll just look at the what edition it is. Nice, clean copy. The bookstore I bought it from doesn't exist anymore. So again, 1965 copyright and published both by Tandem in London and Award Books in New York. Beautiful copy. Fortunately, it has that. Unfortunately, it has that crease there. Still a nice glossy cover copy there. And the next book in the series I wanted to present is the novelization of the film, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And this is the third in the Man with No Name trilogy. And you see there, it's a photo cover with Clint Eastwood, Lee Van Cleef, and Eli Wallach. Um, Clint Eastwood said that he played the character, pretty much the Man with No Name character, uh, pretty much how he saw young people, young men, and he kind of mirrored their disposition and their attitudes in the Man with No Name films. He also, Sergio Leone used little dialogue um, in in the film. So that's the third book. Here's another cover edition of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. An exciting Man with No Name Western. Again by Joe Millard. And copyright first printing 1967. So this is another edition of that book. This is Award Books. And then they came out with original novels based on the character of the Man with No Name. And this is the first of the original novels. This is called A Coffin Full of Dollars. And this one is by, can't see the name. This one's by Joe Millard. And again, this one features a cover art by Chris Achelleos. And this is the tandem. Beautiful book. And here's another edition of A Coffin Full of Dollars. This is the award book edition. This one is copyright 1971. That's a beautiful Western cover there. Exciting Man with No Name Western. If you see the logo there, it comes from the earlier book here. That's where the logo comes from. And the next book was A Dollar to Die For. And this one is by Brian Fox, simultaneously by both Tandem and Award Books. And there's the ever-present cigarette ads. And yeah, I'm not one to read these Roman numerals very well, but that looks like 67 or 77 maybe, or I can't tell. You can tell me in the comments if you know what date that is, SAS. I think that's the original copyright from the film. It says Produzioni Europea Associates, SAS. So I imagine that's the copyright from the persons who created the character, but I don't know. So that's A Dollar to Die For, an original novel. And then here's another version of the book. This is also by Award Books. This one's a really ratty copy. And just look at that, Brian Fox. This one says First Award Tandem Printing, 1968. So that's another edition, same publisher. So that's Brian Fox. And this is Joe Millard again. This is The Devil's Dollar Sign. This one has also been reprinted. This is Starbooks, but this one has this cover art has also been acknowledged to be the work of Chris Achelleos. Starbook, and we look at this is 1980, published by Starbooks. So that's The Devil's Dollar Sign, and again it's Chris Achelleos art. That's an original novel. This is another original novel, again by Award Books. And this is The $1,000,000 Blood Hunt. This also is a Chris Achelleos artwork. And there you see the man with no name in his familiar Mexican poncho. And 1973, copyright date. The $1,000,000 Blood Hunt, Joe Millard. And the last of these Man with No Name books, this is a Charter Books edition of the last of the books by Joe Millard, Blood for a Dirty Dollar. And Charter Books is a later division of Grosset and Dunlap. First charter printing, September 1980. Copyright 1973. And this is the award book edition of the same book, Blood for a Dirty Dollar. And this one is by Joe Millard. And let's look at the interior here. And copyright is 1973. Hard to tell, but I believe this is a paperback original. Yeah, and I do have a better copy that I keep in a bag. I just wanted to look at the interior. So there you go. So that's my collection of the Man with No Name dollar westerns, with featuring cover art by Chris Achelleos. So I hope you enjoyed this video, this presentation, and if you did, give a like, and if possible, subscribe and comment. Um, Comments are always welcome. Okay, thanks. Bye.